Sometimes the biggest decisions a city has to make start with something really small and really, really annoying. In the heart of Silicon Valley, the simple act of waiting for a train has kicked off a massive debate in Menlo Park, California. We're talking about a choice that's going to shape their city for decades, and get this, comes with a price tag of almost $400 million. dollars.
Oh yeah, it's a sound we all know, right? That familiar clang that basically means your whole day is getting put on pause. You hear those bells, you see the flashing lights, and you know exactly what's coming next. Yep, the gates come down and everything just stops. For the folks in Menlo Park, this isn't just some minor inconvenience. It's a daily problem that literally slices right through the middle of their town. And look at this number, 24,000. That's how many cars get stuck every single day at just one crossing, Ravenswood Avenue. This is the city's main artery, and every time a train rolls through, it's completely blocked.
So, this daily gridlock, it's more than just annoying. It's a safety thing, it's a huge drag on the whole city. So, Menlo Park decided, okay, enough is enough. It's time for a real, permanent fix.
And that fix has a technical sounding name, grade separation. But honestly, the idea is super simple. You just make it so cars and trains never have to meet. You either dip the road under the tracks or you lift the tracks over the road. Problem solved. So, after looking at a bunch of different options, the city got it down to two final contenders. And this wasn't just about picking a design. It was a choice about what kind of city they wanted to be.
So you had two very different ways to go. There was alternative A, which was kind of the targeted, precise fix. And then there was alternative C, the big, ambitious plan to totally reconnect the city.
So, alternative A is kind of the minimalist approach, right? It leaves the tracks where they are and just ducks Ravenswood Avenue underneath. It solves the biggest traffic headache for sure. But, and this is a big but, it completely cuts off access to a really important side street, Alma Street.
Then you've got alternative C, which is the go big or go home option. This plan lifts the entire railroad for more than a mile. That means not one, but three major roads can just flow freely underneath. And crucially, it brings back that connection at Alma Street. See, this was about more than just one traffic jam. It was about healing that divide the train tracks had created. Okay, and here's where the whole debate just exploded. I mean, look at that cost difference. It's just staggering. The simple underpass was already going to be expensive, but the big, ambitious plan, it was nearly double the price. You can see why this was such a tough call.
But here's the really fascinating part, the trade-off. Yeah, the bigger project would take maybe a year longer to build, but for that extra year of hassle, the city gets 3 crossings fixed, not just one. It's that classic debate, right? A little more short-term pain for a way bigger long-term gain.
So the city was at a fork in the road. Do you go for the cheaper, faster option, or do you make a huge investment in a solution that's more disruptive now, but promises a much, much bigger payoff down the line? At first, the city council was leaning towards playing it safe. You can see from their notes in May 2018, they knew the big plan was better in the long run, but they were really worried about that higher price tag and all the construction headaches. So they voted for the cheaper, simpler option, alternative A.
But then, the public started talking, and their message was loud and clear. They didn't want a Band-Aid on the biggest problem. They wanted a real citywide solution. They wanted more crossings fixed, better bike lanes, better sidewalks, and they absolutely insisted on keeping that connection at Alma Street. The community was thinking bigger.
And what happened next is actually a pretty amazing example of how local government can work. So in May 2018, the council played it safe with the cheaper plan. But after months of listening to their residents, they did a complete 180. By March of 2019, the vote was unanimous, 5-0 for the bigger, bolder, and way more expensive vision for their city. So the decision was made. They had their vision, but, celebrating is one thing. Paying for it is a whole different ballgame. And that brings up the nearly $400 million question.
I mean, just let this number sink in. The city committed to raising up to $380 million. And this is for one project in a city of just over 33,000 people. The scale here is just immense.
And you can't just write a check for something like this. It's not simple. It's like putting together this incredibly complex puzzle of grants and funds from everywhere: the federal government, the state, regional agencies, and local sources. And all the while, you're competing with a bunch of other cities for those exact same dollars.
So in the end, Menlo Park chose vision over value. They picked a long-term transformation instead of a quick fix. And that's a really powerful statement about what a community can do. But the hardest part? It's still ahead of them, figuring out how to find all that money to turn their blueprint into actual concrete and steel.
And that's the story of Menlo Park's big decision. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.